Welcome back, friends. Welcome back to the homestead and its passive solar greenhouse build video number 2. What we're going to do in this video is we've already prepped the holes, which you'll see in a minute, but now I'm going to get the posts down. We're going to and then we're going to process the posts to put in, hopefully get those in, and then get the truss plates, or wall plates as they're called, on the top of the poles. And you'll see the process of us, how we preserve the wood to stop it rotting in the ground as well. So that's what we're going to do in this video.
Okay, so first thing was to cut the poles to size using my lovely new electric operated chainsaw. So a lot less noise and a lot less fumes. Makes life a lot easier. And then we need to build the fire pit so we can burn the poles. And obviously we've got loads of firewood here, so that's no problem. Didn't take long to get going. And the basic principle of this Japanese system is shosugiban, is that you burn the outside few millimeters of the wood that you're looking to preserve, and that turns to carbon. And then the carbon prevents the moisture from getting inside the piece of wood that you're preserving. So we're going to shosugiban all these poles. The bottom about 60-65 centimeters. They're going to be 50 centimeters in the ground, and that gives them enough protection to give them a bit longer life. And then once one is done, I just drench it in water. So it's quite a nice process. Sitting around the fire for a few hours, I suppose. And then it was off to the local disused quarry to pick up some gravel and sand for settling the poles into the ground just up the road from us, and then put that gravel down the holes before we put these north side poles in. So the next job is we need to level them all up, and first of all just use a string line as a rough guide. And what I'll do is the furthest and nearest poles we will set them plumb, and then we can from those two we can then set the other poles so that they're all the same height, and then just do some very small adjustments. This was a bit theoretical, but actually it worked really well.
Okay, it's the end of the day. Got the poles in, and I got the first and the last, true and plumb and straight and all those words. And if you've ever tried to do that to tree trunks, you know how difficult that is. And then what we'll do tomorrow is put the wall plate across, or some wind come. That should all be now level, apart from that post there, which needs a little bit of clipped off it, because I used the plank to level it all up. You saw that on the time lapse earlier. So we should be able to build the plate tomorrow, stick that on, and then perhaps cut the trunks. Weather's still supposed to be good tomorrow. Potatoes for the chickens. I thought I would use the rest of the heat from the fire to cook some potatoes, which we use for part of our chickens' diet. Mix that with their regular feed. So yeah, and it's exactly 8 meters, which I'm pretty chuffed about. So yeah, I mean, just dug the holes in the right place. Right, I'll see you tomorrow, I guess. Right, it's the next morning. I've got the south side poles cut. That's the fire pit. The reason I'm showing you this is because the kind of byproduct of the cone fire pit is that we get left with lots of nice charcoal, which I can then go and activate and use as biochar. Now, if I was doing this as a proper charcoal pit, then it would be completely full up. But because I was just using it for fire and then cooking the potatoes on it last night, obviously a lot of it turned to ash overnight. But still, there's a really good, that goes down about 10-15 centimetres full of charcoal, so I'll take that out and keep it. And then perhaps today's pit I'll top up, and then tomorrow I'll have lots of charcoal, which is something I need for the biochar, as I just said, which is what we plan to use in the beds for the new greenhouse. So next time you see this, there'll be shell suey band as well, and ready to put in the ground. I'm just about to put the poles down the holes, and I have a bit of a rescue situation. 2 spiders, 1 beetle, and a lovely little lizard. I hope you can see that. So I'll get those out, and then we can put the poles in, which are now done, and I'll show you that on the time lapse.
So now I'm pretty much going to go through the same system as I did with the north poles, either the south poles. They're slightly smaller. But again, put some gravel in just to settle them, and use the piece of timber to make sure they're all level. I mean, they're all cut to the same size, and all the holes are pretty much to the same depth. We know that the land is roughly level. I levelled it out at the start of the project. And again, I'll just tighten up the outside and inside poles and do the rest. And then now what we need to do is make the wall plates. Now, the timber here only comes in 6 metre lengths, and the greenhouse is 8 metres long. So I need to do a double plate and overlap with the 2 4 metre lengths with a 2 and a 4 and a 2, so that the joins are overlapping for the strength. And then we'll take these down to the site and put them together with our trusty cart. So I'll just put some plates on the ground, and then you can see now there's a 2 4 metre bits on the bottom, then a 4 metre bit in the middle, and 2 metre bits on the end. So all the joins overlap, like I said. And then I just put a clamp in the middle to make sure that they're all straight. And the rest works really well, actually. And then I stick it up on top so I can make sure that everything is level, and just do some final adjustments to the tops where they've not been cut quite straight with a chainsaw. Just use a angle grinder with a flat sander on it. Works really well. Just a couple of final adjustments needed before we can fix these in. And I won't fix the middle poles right until the very end when everything's level, and then we'll pound in the dirt around them. So here's a second wall plate for the south wall, and this one you just see me putting the wood preserve on. So we have this stuff here called antiseptics, but essentially it's wood preserver. And again, we'll go through the same process. Just looks a little bowed there because of the distortion of the lens, but trust me, it's nice and straight. Just final. And then some of these middle poles I just straighten up. start putting them in place. So this is the process of just grinding down the top of the stumps just to make sure they're all level. Want the maximum contact between the plate and the top of the pole. And then the final job is just to screw down the plates onto the top of the poles. I'm using some very large Torx headed bolts and my impact driver to put those down. Here's the last one. And I just make sure that everything continues to stay level as I do the job. Sometimes I needed a couple of small shims under the just to make it as true and level as possible. So there we are, all done for this video. In the next video I'll be building trusses and putting the roof on. So thanks for watching the videos. I hope you're finding them interesting. Go back to the original video to see part 1 and the design. And I look forward to seeing you in future videos as we continue to build our passive solar greenhouse. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye.